Welcome to Freshers No channel. Today's video is going to be about Information Security Engineer. How is their role and career going to be, and how are they being paid in major cities in India, and also we are going to look on an average basis as well. Now, if you are a person or a student, if you're graduating and having a CS or an IT degree, this is going to be a great set for you to start up your career as an Information Security Engineer. Now, why do we need this person? In many organizations and businesses, or if you are serving unto clients as well, on client basis or on organization basis or on a business perspective, on a day-to-day basis, we would be handling tons of data, and that is considered to be under sensitive data, which needs an in-place system to be protective. So, Information Security Engineer would be the right fit and would be playing the right role to protect all of the sensitive data and also know about how the data is being authorized and being assessed with. So everything in protecting all the sensitive data which is in regards to the company or the organization's policies and regulations will be taken up by Information Security Engineer. Apart from handling sensitive data, there is another key point which can also take an advantageous overlook or take an advantageous step or a leap over it. So in order to have a positive or a leap growth in this, you can have an experience in coding languages, maintaining sets of data, and also knowing about the documentation of the data as well as operating systems and networks. This is going to be adding on an advantageous part. So not just knowing about how to protect all of the sensitive data, but also knowing about various other elements which I've just mentioned is going to take up a leap and also make you look on the brighter side, which will make an impact on the skills part for you to grow as a profession. Now, this person, will he or she be working in a team or in independent work? It will be depending upon the company and the project that he or she is being placed to. Often they will be working in a team, and sometimes they can also be working on an independent task as well. So it depends upon the project and the company that they are being placed. Now that you have understood a brief outlook about the role and what is going to be, you will be understanding more in detail if we take over the definition part. The Information Security Engineer is also called as Information Security Analyst. So they would be analyzing and bringing out resourceful processes for the data or the sensitive data of an organization or a company that they are working. So they help to safeguard the organization's computer networks and the systems which are related to. So they lead and in-system a person in order to make sure all the alignment of the data and the networks of the particular systems are being in place and secured enough. Another key point is that Information Security Engineer often has to be dealing with keeping all of the security data confidential. So that is one of the responsibility to say that has to be taken up by the role. So if you are facing any sort of threats or any sort of issues, you would not only just be resolving them, but you should make sure that you are documenting it properly and then putting under report to make sure that you are not facing any of the security threats further. Taking measures would be one of the things that you can do in order to survive yourself from the security threats. The other one is resolve all of the networks and resolve all of the threats through the cyber security systems. And along with that, you would be also bringing out cost-effective solutions for the cyber security problems. So these are some of the elements which are associated with an Information Security Engineer. We would be now heading over to the skills part. Now, before I list down or tell you what are the skills part which you can already see on the screen, the advantageous part of starting off your career under this Information Security Engineer is having relevant certifications. Now, what are the certifications will be including? Certifications like CISSP, GSEC, CEH, CISM, that would be much more desired. So all of these certifications would be having an add-on to your CV or your resume, and that is eventually going to have a more weightage or positive weightage for your role as well. Now coming to the skills part, penetration testing, security information and event management (SREM), and knowing about all of the policies and the procedures which are being followed to resolve all the threats which are being taken or which are being faced, cyber security problems, or resolving all of the problems which are under cyber security, and computer security and other networks and systems, which is going to be another key role, IT security and infrastructure. So all of the skills part is everything related to protecting or securing the sensitive data, networks and the systems of a company or an organization, or to whichever business sector that he or she is working with. Next is about what does this person do. So it is not just about protecting the set of data or knowing about the documentation and the procedure of the particular data and resolving them or saving them from security threats. So you would be understanding that information security engineers will be helpful in order to maintain the integrity of the data communicated. So making it as a confidential part of the organization, they will be storing through the business enterprise, and they would also be developing and maintaining the protocols for it. So they can safely use them, and for the entry, transmission and also the retrieval data and software assets of the company. So all of this will be an alignment. So these are not something different, or these are not under various categories, but all of these are considered to be interlinked by only the word data security. So all of this is going to be something which is having an interconnection or intertwined with something that you have to be doing every single day on a daily basis, by making sure that you are being well aware enough as to how the data is being processed with various other networks and other systems. And if you are willing to become one, other than the certifications that I have just mentioned, you can follow these keynote points and implement them into action. Putting them into action will help you to understand on a practical basis. So if you are only having a practical basis itself, you would be able to know as to how you can follow it for the further or the long run process. So putting all of these skill set, certifications and all the other academicians and also academic point of view, all of that which you have done through your learning into action. So putting that out will help you to gain a set of experience. Experience will enable you to resolve them very quickly, and it will also help you to know as to what are the other ways that you can implement as to how you can solve them. So here are some of the key points which you can note down. Proficiency in knowing coding languages or programs, tools like C++, Java, Python, etc. Experience in also having roles such as system administrator or network engineer. So if you are associated with all of these roles, you would be having first experience, you would be knowing the inaction process. So through this experience and inaction process, you would be understanding the various components which are being linked and how are they being processed to. And direct experience with antivirus software, and also detection of firewalls, content filtering and all of that, which will be another job responsibilities which he or she should be knowing before you start off your career. So this can also be learned when you are starting your career on an entry level. Throughout your career, you would be knowing all of this stuff because you would be eventually learning and growing at the same time. Testing company software, firmwares and firewalls is also going to be a responsibility or a part of the role of an information security engineer. The next one is what are the job roles which are associated with this. Not only just knowing about the components of the job, you would be understanding what are the roles which are associated with this. So roles like developing the information security plans and policies. So knowing about the regulation documentations, implementing the protections. So not knowing just the security threats, but knowing the protections that you can note down, and test for vulnerabilities. You will be pre-checking. Next, monitoring for the security breaches. So you would be under constant observant or constant observation as to how the data is being known into stage wise. Investigating securities and other threats or security data processing. So this also comes under observation, and then knowing about the processing or reporting as well. So unless and until you make sure that you are having a stage-wise protocoled type of work, you would not be understanding as to how you can process it on a daily basis. So as to how you are taking up your data and then putting into action and observing, reporting and documentation also are quite important and quite similar to the responsibility that you have been taken up. We will now head over to the pay part. So how are they being paid in India? This is taken just on an average basis, sourced from Payscale. So if you want, you can check over the website, and don't just stick on to the amount that I keep mentioning. This can change over time and also according to the company as well. Now it depends upon the skill set, the certifications, how you have done in your academics, and how much experience do you have. So all of this will be taken into account and then you will be paid. On an average basis in India, an information security engineer is paid around 7,23,000, and this is how the career graph is going to look like. So just to give you a brief glance over the years, so your career is going to start off on a mid-range, right? So this is not an entry level, but I can say this is a mid-range when you take an overall look, and over the years when you come down to 4 to 5 years, you would be reaching out to a peculiar height, and then it will be taking over a leap when you reach down to 10 years. So this is how the career graph is going to be if you have or wanting to land down in this particular job. Mumbai being a place of an exponential growth, the pay is going to be around 3,82,000, which is nearing to the average pay. And in Hyderabad, over the south also, in Hyderabad, which is going to be the core component of development for many organizations and other businesses, the pay is around 6,66,000, which is almost to the highest pay all over the south. And Bangalore being 8,70,000, which is also nearing to Hyderabad itself. And in Pune, it is 6,80,000. So almost all the cities in India is nearing to a very mid-range pay, even at the entry levels. So it all depends upon your skill set and as to how you are being processed with and how much experience do you gather. And next is in Chennai. Chennai is a little bit lower because it is on an average basis, they are being paid 3,27,000. And next, we will be looking into as to how the companies are being paid. So how the companies are paying to the employers on this particular role. So again, don't just stick on to this amount. This is just taken on an average basis per annum. So InfoSys is paying around 3,82,000. Now this can be taken up into under any location in India. So likewise in any other companies or organizations, it again depends about how you are being placed and how are your skills being used and put into action. So that is how you are being paid. On an average basis, the growth is taking a top notch because many of the organization, companies and many other businesses need an information security engineer because they need a system in place to protect their data and also be aware and observant of all the security threats which are being around the data of the organization, and also knowing as to how you have to make your policies and regulations put into action. So all of these major roles and responsibilities which are aligned with the job is going to be assessed on how the candidate or the person is being taken up the role or putting their skills into action. So if you have any other comments or any other opinions or any other suggestions regarding the video, you can put them in the comment section. Stay tuned for more videos like this and do subscribe. Thank you for watching.